Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Portadown Preview Show. I'm Neil, and alongside me as always, I'm joined by the ever-present Dave Wiggins. Dave, how are you?
Doing okay, but I've decided to wear black tonight because of our getting booted out of the Irish Cup, so I'm in mourning. I thought we might do okay in it this year, but we'll talk about that later.
Not bad.
I couldn't be arsed putting a Portadown top on, so...
Shame on you.
I know.
This week we're delighted to be joined by Football Babble podcast and BBC reporter Phil McCullough. Phil, thanks so much for taking the time to come on the show. How are you keeping?
Thank you for getting me involved. I can't believe you asked me for it, but thanks. I'm good. It's been a mad week already, and the start of football. And we've got the weekend. I'm all good.
Phil, can I ask you a follow-up question?
Yes.
Is it McCullough or McCullough?
Oh, do I want to annoy aunties and uncles, or do I want to keep it? I don't care, to be honest. It's I say McCullough, and my dad will say McCullough, but I say McCullough to wind him up.
All right, so it's really McCullough then.
It'll be So whatever you want.
No,
it doesn't bother me.
Neil, it's always one of those things that a lot of the BBC guys will say McCullough, which I feel like's maybe a city thing, but all the Portadown ones are McCulloughs, like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I introduce you as there? Did I say McCullough or did I say McCullough? I can't even remember now.
I think you said McCullough.
Aye.
Did I?
But listen, we're wasting valuable time here. I haven't had my dinner yet.
Oh dear.
Here, join the club. I'm starving. Right. So obviously there's a lot went down this week in the Irish League and the Irish Cup, so we'll get straight to it. Last weekend, Portadown took on Warrenpoint Town away in the battle for ninth, so to speak. We went into that game and we were in ninth place on goal difference. We got a valuable 3-1 victory. Dave, Warrenpoint Town, it's a club that Portadown have generally struggled against over the years, so it was a very satisfying victory in the end.
You didn't drive and stand outside the ground up on the hill with a wee flag, did you? Too far.
If only there was a bridge.
I know. No, listen, I was delighted with that victory. As you said, I would have been happy if we finished in 10th place this season. And we still might, you know. But the fact that we've pushed on into 9th position and we've given ourselves that little cushion of 3 points now, I was really happy. Trevor Clydesdale, who's the Portadown media officer, tweeted that was the first time that we had beaten Warrenpoint in Warrenpoint, which is unbelievable. Like, it really is. And I think we've really struggled against them anywhere we play them, at Shamrock Park or whatever. But the very fact that that's our first victory against them, I like that, because they're obviously a bit of a bogey team along with Carrick, but they're the teams down around us that we have to beat. So the fact that we're beating them now is pretty good. Wonder goals. Ben Tilney scored a wonder goal in the first half. And I think probably we were a wee bit better in the second half. And obviously Adam Sally has scored 2 goals. He's got across his defender well for a nice header. And he's tucked a penalty away, which was his 7th penalty out of 7, which is pretty good as well. So all in all, 3 points, good win. I was delighted. I didn't watch it. I just followed it on Twitter on Saturday, actually, but I had a family day without the football. But I really enjoyed the goals coming through and the result at full time. So, good 3 points, I think.
It certainly makes Saturdays far more enjoyable when Portadown can get the 3 points. Phil, obviously, you know, you were saying yourself, you know, you've covered a lot of Portadown, Glenavon, Dungannon. Have you seen much of Warrenpoint this season?
I've only seen them if they've come to the likes of, where was it? Glenavon. I think I saw them once, and I'll see them on Saturday when I'm at your game, and I'm just obviously in the highlight show. The night I saw them at Linfield beat them 5-0, and 5-0 looks like you get an absolute hammering, but there was times where they were good in the game. But I was really, when I saw the result coming through on Saturday, I was like you, Dave, I had a family day, so I was off, and I saw the result coming through. Say surprise is not the right word, but to win 3-1, to go and put a marker down, and yes, it is for ninth, but I think ninth for Portadown, for Tippy this season, regardless of relegation or not, because you have to forget about that this year, is a brilliant result. And it's something to kick on with, especially, and we'll talk about it in more detail. This Portadown side, I think, are a wee bit better than ninth. I just think they're still quite young at the minute, and Tippy's highlighted that where I think he said a couple of weeks ago, they need to be more cute. And you started to see that, like the Larne game, you talked about it, like, and I'm don't mean to go back, sorry, Larne fans, anyone watching this, but
don't be sorry, mate. Do not be sorry in any way.
The Larne game, I love football SH1T houses, right? I'm not saying Portadown are, but to only have 2 shots and win 2-1 against Larne and to win at the last minute is beautiful football for me, regardless of who it is. You know what I mean? Like, if that was Liverpool doing that on someone in the Premier League, I would just be enthralled by that. So that showed me, that result, because I was there, showed me a toughness that is coming through in this Portadown side. And then to go away, Ben Berbatov, as I've been calling him, with his unreal goal, like, that was ridiculous to set you up. And to go away to Warrenpoint, yes, they've been in a bit of bad form. You still have to beat them 3-1. Perfect result. So if I was a Portadown fan, I'd be quite excited about going on the next season, regardless of what happened on Tuesday night, which I'm sure we'll touch on in the Irish Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, here I couldn't agree with you anymore there. I think, like we've said it that many times now on the show, that if you've been offered 10th at the start of the season, you'd bet your hand up for it. They've put themselves in a decent position to have a shot at getting 9th. Now, I'm not going to get carried away here because, it is still quite close, and hopefully we don't get sucked back into the bottom 2, but I'd be pretty confident that we won't. And, it'd be nice going into this Saturday where we play Warrenpoint again, where we went and beat them at their place. And we did owe them one after the game earlier in the season, where they beat us at Shamrock. So it'd be nice to be able to put down a bit of a marker and try to pull away.
We're still not mathematically safe from finishing bottom. I'll just throw that out there. So the pressure's still on. Although I think
absolutely.
Dungannon would have to win 5 and we'd have to lose 5, but it could happen.
Yeah, but it could happen. This is it. I don't want to get too carried away, but I think if you actually go in the flash score and then flick the form guide up, obviously it's split the league in 2 now. So if you go into the form guide, Portadown in that bottom 6 or the form team, and it's really pleasant, when you flick it up and it's like Portadown are top of the tree, like.
But even before the split there, over the last 5 league matches, we were still, I think, 2nd in the form, just behind Linfield or something like that as well. So
what was it? 3 wins, a draw, and that narrow defeat against Cliftonville, was it? Maybe
I think there was 4. No, it was 4 in the last 5 league matches. It was 4 wins.
4 wins.
Yeah,
that is some going, regardless of what point of the season. And for this point of the season, that's class.
Yeah. It was a nice little bit of memento. And in an interview recently, I think Tippy said, obviously we'll talk about Tuesday night. We're out of the cup. He does not want players to now think that this last 5 matches is just a bit of crack. They run the tail end of the season with nothing to play for, because there's boys there playing for contracts. There's boys there proving themselves that their position is in our squad or on our team. And I imagine Matthew and the coaches will have them well drilled that he wants this team to finish as high up the league as possible. And then next year, hopefully we can then start to try and knock on the door of Glenavons and Ballymenas, because that's probably the next week group there, Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think even the game the other week against Carrick, I think that was the turning point. Obviously getting the 3 points against them, and then obviously the 3 points against Dungannon on the Tuesday night really set it up. And then we sort of went from strength to strength from there, and long may it continue. But like I said, I think for such a young team, there would have been talk around Portadown about how Warrenpoint have had the better of us over the years at Milltown. So to get that monkey off the back, I think that's a nice wee feather in the cap, so to speak. Which would obviously
it's another wee positive. It's another wee positive to take forward, isn't it? Like, it's all wee stepping stones, and that's another little positive to take forward. For sure.
Absolutely. Obviously, then we left Milltown on Saturday with the 3 points. Ben Tilney scored another goal. He's on a bit of a scoring run at the minute. Adam Sally's starting to spang them in as well, so it's all good. Moving on to Tuesday night, then we played Ballymena United away in the Irish Cup. We said it last week. one of the toughest draws you could have got in the cup, especially for Portadown, considering our record away to Ballymena is dreadful. Like there's no denying it. Like, we always say it, we usually get beat. It's always cold. And lo and behold, we get beat 4-1 last night. But, listen, what Tippy said, and I know I'd agree. I don't really think it was a 4-1 type of game, but we gifted them a few goals. Phil, you were talking there about, the players at Portadown maybe starting to be a bit more cuter over the last sort of few weeks, but I sort of think last night maybe a wee bit of naivety came back into play again.
Yeah, and look, I know it's the cup game, and you want to, obviously everyone will want to do well in it, and especially for yourselves, to play a final at Warrenpoint Park would have been pretty sweet. I was at Warrenpoint Park for Glenavon, so I know how much that hurt for them. But like this Ballymena side are a very good side in their day, and they've shown they'll beat anyone. And Portadown has shown that to a point, and I think it'll kick on next year. But like, it does sound silly to say it wasn't a 4-1 result. That does sound when you look at it, but it really wasn't. It was close at times, and I mean, I'm not a fan of a club, but I drive the Lee Bonus fan club. I drive that bus, and there he is with another goal last night. It's ridiculous what he's been doing in this league, and this is his first season in the league to come from Seago, pardon me, and what he's at. So I would always be one that would try to look for positives. So to look at something like that and to go out of the cup, whatever this season's going to happen, but the next 5 league games are the one I would be looking at for Tippy. I'm sure he is as well. And as you said, players are playing for next season. They might have shown a bit of naivety last night, but they'll learn from that. This Portadown team has shown they'll learn from that. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see another good run of results coming towards the end of the season, and they'll get the monkey off they'll shake off Tuesday night's result, I think.
Yeah, I was so excited about the Irish Cup after just a really good run that we've been on, and Ballymena haven't been doing so well over the last sort of 4 or 5 games either. And I just thought I was getting a wee bit of butterflies and a wee bit of excitement and a wee bit of cup fever, I suppose. And I just thought going into it, this is a really good opportunity. If you can get past Ballymena, you mightn't get that difficult to draw in the next round. Before you know it, you're in a quarter final, and who knows what happens after that. I think as football fans, we all love to dream.
Yeah.
Flip me, Neil, you support Arsenal, so you probably think you've the potential to win the league every year for the last however long. And we all
that's below the belt there, like
we all think our team could win a cup or could do well in the league and all of that kind of stuff. So I was really excited going into the match.
Yeah.
Had the full buzz and everything, and I'm not sure if the live stream caught it, but there was a wee bit of shithousery just before the kickoff where the Portadown players came out and went all gathered on the right-hand side of the pitch. And then the Ballymena players came out. And normally they would go to the other half of the pitch, but they also went to the right-hand side of the pitch. So all the players from both teams were in the right-hand side of the pitch, just standing looking at each other before the referee gave the toss. And then the Ballymena players had to move down to the left-hand side. Now, in the end, if it was a bit of trickery, it obviously didn't really work out for us, but it was just one of those Irish League moments. I was like, oh yes, lads, let's just get into their heads before the start of the match here. Loved it.
You're saying there about the stream picking it up. The stream didn't pick much up last night at all. There was a lot of difficulties with it.
Okay.
See, I've only got to see small clips of last night because I was obviously working at Mornview. So you obviously the 2 fans. What happened last night then? What was it? If like Tippy says it wasn't a 4-1, and from what I've saw and read, it doesn't sound like, even people at Ballymena saying, that's probably isn't fair that the result. But what happened? What was it to put it down to getting beat 4-1 away?
You know what I think part of it was? And there's been a whole lot of talk about this in the league where the pressure has been off the bottom 4 clubs where we know there's no relegation, right? So we've been able to relax and play, enjoy the football, and that has helped us climb the table and win matches, right? So then you go into the first round of the Irish Cup and there's pressure all of a sudden there because there's expectations from supporters, there's expectations that players, I'm sure, have put on themselves to go on a good cup run. And I sort of feel there was pressure and nerves there. And then obviously Finno gave the short back pass 5 minutes into the match, and you're just like, before you've started, you're 1 down, and that no harm to Paul. It was a mistake, but all of a sudden, that's your confidence booted, isn't it? Really, before you've even started the match. So I feel like there's a wee bit of that where in the league, with the pressures off to flourish and do your stuff and try things and enjoy it, whereas you're coming into the cup there maybe with the pressure of expectation of trying to do as well as you can in the cup. So I don't know if that's a thing, but if I was a player in a young side, that's some of the stuff that I would be probably dealing with as well. But like you said, it probably wasn't a 4-1. I thought we were far better than them in the first half. We basically gifted them 2 goals. Lee Bonus has scored a wonder goal. He's done it on his own. And then even before half, that was about 5 minutes before half time. And then Sally flicks one on to him. And it's probably an easier chance where he's one-on-one with the keeper. And he hits it hard and the keeper gets a good hand on it. And I was chatting back and forward with Lee a wee bit today, and I know he was really disappointed that he hasn't buried that one. But even before that as well, he probably had a chance from a free kick. He had a sort of a free header that he put wide. So there were chances there, Tilney hit the bar with a corner. So the first half, I thought we were very much on top, even though we'd gifted them 2 goals. But I think in the second half, while we were still in it, I think Ballymena probably just tried much harder. They took their chances. They roughed us up. They passed and moved very well. And in the end, I think Ballymena probably did deserve it. Listen, they scored 4 goals and we scored 1 goal. And like we always say, they stuck the chances away and we didn't stick our chances away. We made the mistakes. They didn't make the mistakes. And they deservedly go on to the second round. Massively, bitterly disappointing. Isn't that what Big Davey says? Bitterly disappointed by that.
Yeah.
And it was a real sickener. It just felt like a real sickener because there was such optimism going into it. So listen, hopefully they can pick it up, and we've got Warrenpoint at home on Saturday, and hopefully we can get back to that league form where the pressure's off again. We know there's no relegation and we can relax and play at home and enjoy our football.
I think as well, when you're saying there about the cup, I'm always of an advocate. Listen, you can play as well as you want in the cup, but at the end of the day, it's a cup match. You just need to put the ball in the back of the net, and it's as simple as that. And if you don't, you're out. It's as simple as that, and that's basically what's happened. Like, so I don't really think we're going to have too many complaints, to be honest.
I think overall in the second half now,
did you feel a buzz? Sorry to take over your podcast, lads. You just can get rid of me here, but did you two feel?
We lost you there for a second, Phil. Neil, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Sorry,
but I'm back. Just heard Phil saying about a buzz, and then you just cut off.
I've always got a buzz, Phil. He's frozen. Phil, you're frozen, but you'll maybe get back to us in a wee minute.
Did you?
I can hear you now.
Back on now. Apologies. Did you two feel a buzz building up to yesterday's game? Because I noticed one at Mornview between both sides and dignitaries and people involved with both clubs. There was a different feel to it than just the league.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I just once we got Saturday's match over with, even before that, I had started to think about the cup. Listen, it's the cup every year. You go into the cup thinking if your ducks line up. Oh, I'm about to talk about Ballymena. If your ducks line up, you could easily find yourself in the final, which is what Ballymena did not too long ago, If you sneak a win, if you get a good draw, before you know it, you can be in a semi-final or a final. So I definitely did have excitement because we haven't won anything for a while, and it's always a cup's always an opportunity. Teams like Ballymena, Glenavon, Coleraine, those are the competitions that they go into every year thinking we could definitely have a chance of winning this. And I want Portadown to be a club who feels that as well. And even though we're sitting ninth, we're just promoted, I did have a wee buzz that we could go on a good cup run. I'm not going to say, I think we could have won it or whatever, but I think we could have probably, reached a quarter-final or a semi-final, and then you just don't know what happens after that. So the short answer, Phil, is yes, I felt a buzz. What about you, Neil?
Yeah, I love cup football. It'll be good next season when the League Cup's back as well. Obviously another chance at silver, and I think a few clubs will have their eyes on that. I'll put you both on the spot here, seeing that Portadown are out.
Here,
Dave,
sorry, you mentioned the League Cup, but also County Antrim Shield's a big one too, isn't it?
I don't know why I'm laughing because I'm working on it, but yes.
You mean Jurassic Park? Here, I'm going to put you both on the spot here, saying that Portadown out. Dave, who do you think will win the Irish Cup this season?
Glentoran.
Phil?
Glentoran won it last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Now Crusaders will not win it. Cliftonville will not win it. So Coleraine are out. Glenavon are out. Yeah, let's go Glentoran. I mean, I'm saying that with a smirk on my face. Really, that makes me feel sick inside.
I'm just gonna because of who I have to follow and report on. I'm gonna say Dungannon are gonna win it, and I hope they do, and I hope I'm involved because I'm gonna get in trouble.
You said that with a straight face. Unbelievable.
I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I just want to see the three Mid-Ulster clubs just win things now, because I've been following them for this season, and as I said, the day of offer, I've grown to just really like all three clubs. So I just want to see any of them win something. So yeah, I hope Dungannon win it, but it'll probably be going back to the Oval. Let's be honest, they love the Irish Cup. So
just going to get a wee piece of paper to write that down. Anybody that likes Glenavon Football Club will not be on this podcast again. No, here, listen.
We've had Gareth. We've had Gareth Hahn on twice.
You had Gareth Hahn on.
Hello, do you know what? I'm going to tell Gareth Hannah, if you're listening, Gareth Hannah said to me he's not sure if he is still a Glenavon fan because he hardly ever gets to watch them anymore. But I think deep down he is. That was just he had the reporter hat on there, you know.
He's being civil.
Professional.
I am going to go out on a whim here, and I am going to. You've said they're not going to win it. I have an England Crusaders will win the Irish Cup this year. I really do. I really do.
Are you going out on a whim or a limb?
Both. I just have a feeling that they might do it because they've been poor in the league.
Coming into a bit of form there, haven't they?
Coming into a bit of form. Baxter has been getting a lot of stick from disgruntled Crusaders fans. And I just have an inkling, like you say, the draw could go your way and suddenly you find yourself in a semi-final, and they had a great win away to Coleraine last night. So just have an inkling that they might do it. But I'm just disappointed it's not going to be Portadown. So what can you do? But anyway.
Listen, the Irish Cup's over as far as I'm concerned. Couldn't care less.
Yeah, Then it now. Scrap it. Okay, so moving on to Saturday then. We are playing Warrenpoint again. Albeit this time it's at Shamrock Park. Dave, I suppose we've touched on Warrenpoint quite a bit already. It's sort of weird this season because it seems to be that you maybe play a team and then 2 weeks later you're playing them again. It's a strange old season, and then we're going to be playing Warrenpoint again this week. I'll be twice in the space of a week. So what do you reckon? Warrenpoint will set up a bit differently this time, or should Portadown just go screw it? Don't care what way Warrenpoint are setting up. We'll just go and play the same way we did last week.
I think we should play the next 5 matches as Cup. I've said the Irish Cup's over, but let's pretend it's still on. I think we should play the next 5 matches as if they're Irish Cup matches and just go for it. Just not worry too much and just attack and have some fun and see what happens, I'm not sure if Tippy would agree with that or not. I don't even know if that's how you win football matches or not, but that's what the supporters want to see, No, listen, Warrenpoint are a good side. Barry Gray is a shrewd manager. He will have learnt from his defeat last week. I don't know what he'll do differently. I don't know much about him. The guy Swan who scored against us, I think he scored again then in the Irish Cup on Tuesday night as well. So have you seen him, Phil? Do you know much about him?
I've only seen him once. I think I haven't got a chance to see much of Warrenpoint, so I'm actually looking forward to Saturday and seeing how they bounce back. There's a good win for them on Tuesday night, so.
I don't even know if he's a striker or not, but he's got 2 goals and 2 there as well. So, listen, I would.
Did he not score against us at Shamrock Park as well?
Did I? He might have.
I think he did.
I don't have a memory. I don't have a memory for things like that. I just text Johnny Dunlop. But listen, I imagine I imagine Warrenpoint will set up differently, and they're coming away from home at the end of the day, but they'll be looking to take points off us and not let us creep ahead of them again. But as I said, it's a really good opportunity for us to put a bit of a gap between ourselves and Warrenpoint. I would just like to see us. I think we should. The form that we're in, we should be beating Warrenpoint. We should be beating Dungannon. We should be beating Carrick. We should be beating those teams at home, really. So those are the teams I'd like to see us beating.
Actually, I have a question for Warrenpoint, and we bring this up every week about kits and shirts and whatnot, and you're wearing black, and it's just reminded me, why were Warrenpoint wearing black at home to us last week? Any ideas?
Yeah, I wondered that as well when I saw it on TV.
Yeah,
against modern football, man.
They did it last week as well. Did they not play Glenavon in black at Warrenpoint during the week? I think they did.
I think they might have, yeah.
I don't know.
Whoever the Warrenpoint kit manager is, could you please answer that question?
I'll be honest. You see, if you wear your away kit twice at home, you should be kicked out of the league. That's what I think. Back to the championship. That's championship behaviour. Like, it really is.
It was the first thing. As soon as the stream came on, I was like, "Why the hell are Warrenpoint wearing black?" Like, I've made your kid OCD. Like, so. Yeah, but I just noticed that at the time. She's like, "That's a bit of a strange one." Like, so
let's have a chat about your kit, Neil, while we're talking about FKWs here.
Just the complete opposite of last week's shirt. It's just the home shirt from 12-13 season, and it's literally just the complete opposite of.
You must have got the home one in a size bigger than the white one. Well, that one's fitting you okay.
This one is fitting a wee bit better, like, so it does need iron, to be fair, like, but yeah. No, it's quite comfortable.
Phil, what about your wee retro number here?
Yeah, I was waiting on someone spotting it. It's the 94 Italy one. Roberto Baggio is my hero.
Nice.
That's the first player I properly noticed and fell in love with, and then he broke my heart when he missed that penalty. So I got this at the start of the first lockdown. Got it as a gift. Someone gave me it. I was a new dad, so someone obviously sorted me out. So nice. Very happy. I thought I'd wear it tonight because I had a funny feeling you'd appreciate it, Dave. So I thought I'd put this on and see what he thinks.
I appreciate it, mate. I definitely do.
Well,
where are we? Warrenpoint.
Warrenpoint on Saturday.
Warrenpoint on Saturday. No, listen. If Portadown could get another 3 points on Saturday, I think it would put us in a really good stead. And yeah, here's hoping to do, but it'll be a very difficult game. Again, I think, like you said, Dave, I think Warrenpoint are a good side as well, and I think anyone would just dismiss them. They're this wee lowly Warrenpoint. Nah, definitely not. They're a good side, and they can hurt anyone on their day as well.
Yeah, I think we'll have changes as well. Obviously, Barney McCune limped off with a hamstring injury at the showgrounds on Tuesday night, which was disappointing because Stephen Murray was just getting warmed up to come on, and he knew he was coming on for Barney. And then Barney just he went on a run and he just pulled up, So it was one of those ones where if the substitution had been made 60 seconds earlier, he probably wouldn't have pulled his hamstring. But it was a corner, and you never make a substitute when you're defending a corner and all that chat. So we'll have to change the midfield. Maybe that'll give Sam Ward another start. Who knows? But listen, we'll have changes to make as well there. So. Yeah,
I think you're touching on it about it's the last 5 games and everyone wants to win them, and a lot of focus will obviously go on the top 6 because of what's still to play for there. But I think the teams in the bottom half, say certainly the bottom 4 yourselves, 1 point, Carrick, Dungannon, as you said, these players are fighting to have a place in that league next year, regardless of relegation or not. Mm. So I think Niall Curry had said to me before that they were beat. I think it was the Glenavon game I was at. They were beaten. He said, "Look, if the players don't improve and the club don't want me to be here and I'm not doing my job, they'll get rid of me, and that's just the nature of football." And I honestly do think you're going to see some very, very good, very close games in the next couple of weeks because yes, there's no relegation, there's no trophy on offer, but there's contracts and there's football next season to be playing. You want to be in the Irish League next year to go again, so it'll be very tight. I think Saturday's game, Warrenpoint will want to repay the favour, and they know if they win, it goes level again, but it's only in goal difference. Then they're behind you, so it is a huge game. Despite people look at it and say, "But it's only for 9th." That 9th is very, very important. Tippy said it whenever relegation was scrapped, and he talked to people before. He said, "I do not want my team finishing bottom." None of the managers do, so they'll all be going. Maybe Dungannon will be the one that might, you see, take the foot off the gas a little bit, because they'll have a big game coming up in the cup.
Yeah,
and Carrick too.
He's obviously he's trialing his new system for next season, regardless of how it, results that it gets or whatever. You've also got Glenavon there. They'll be looking to hold on to 7th place in a big way to get into that European playoff. And I think Ballymena are maybe 4 points behind them. I'm saying maybe, I just checked it on my phone there. And so they'll be pushing Glenavon all the way. So yeah, I think you're right. Apart from Dungannon, all of those teams will be pushing hard. Yeah.
I think Dungannon will be pushing hard. I think Dungannon will be pushing hard to not finish bottom anyway. I know it's an old cliche. No one wants to finish bottom, but I think Dungannon on their day. There's signs there that that game against Linfield a few weeks ago, they played very well. They've beaten Crusaders this season and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I think Dungannon. I don't think Dungannon are as bad as people make them out to be be honest. So I think they'll be trying to get as many points as to not be bottom. And I wouldn't rule them out of getting off the bottom, to be honest, but hopefully not at Portadown's expense anyway.
No, it's most likely going to be at Carrick Rangers' expense, and there's neither of us will really care about that, Neil, to be honest.
No, definitely not. So we've already touched on Glenavon there, and that's who we play next Tuesday at Mourneview Park. At the minute, it stands at Portadown hold 2 victories to Glenavon's 1. Glenavon, as you say, will be looking to hang on to 7th place if Ballymena breathing down their necks. Phil, if Glenavon, listen, I saw the interview you did with Gary Hamilton last night. I know Dave will probably have enjoyed it quite a lot, but
I enjoy Gary and Phil's beards, so I wasn't listening to them. I was just looking at their beards. So,
and you can see that he was annoyed that Glenavon have passed up a good opportunity, because they have won the Irish Cup, a couple of times in the past 7 years there, and obviously it's an avenue to get into Europe as well. So you could see he was bitterly disappointed, and I think they'll be doing everything in they can to try and hold on to 7th place. Do you think if Glenavon were to say finish 7th, do you think that's a good season for them? I do personally.
I think they'll definitely take it now. If they can finish 7th, but then have a good run at a playoffs. But I've got the chance to know all of your managers, and Dean, Matthew Tipton, and Gary, and getting to chat to Gary recently, and chatting to him in the run they were on when they were chasing Crusaders, and I was adamant they were going to catch Crusaders because Crusaders were on free fall, and then they got stung 6-1, and that chinned them. And even if it is 7th and whatever, I don't think they'll be happy now. That has hurt last night. Such a death stare he gave me when I was standing till then. The camera, it was a nightmare, but he was very good to be fair to him. But I don't think 7th. I think 7th they'll take it if they can get over the line and get a run at the European spots. If they can get a European spot, yes. But I don't think they'll be satisfied, and I think they'll try and kick on with a few more signings, bigger signings possibly for next season. So no, overall I don't think they'll be happy.
No, to me, Glenavon should be a top half of the table side. They're long established in the league now. Their manager's been there for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think they should be. Yeah. I think they should be a top half. Now, I'm not talking about 2nd or 3rd. I'm talking about 5th or 6th. I just think he's been in the job a long time. There's plenty of money has come into that club through European football after cup finals, after cup wins. There's been plenty of money coming in there from players who have gone across the water, and I think Glenavon should be doing. And I'm not saying that as a Portadown fan sticking the boot in. I'm just saying, I really do think that there should be a top half of the table side. Having said that, there's not a whole lot of difference between finishing 6th and 7th now, is there? You've got top half of the table, but you're in a playoff to be in the European playoffs. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, it'll depend on who wins the Irish Cup as well.
Does it? Aye. So what happens? Give us a wee. Do you know a wee rundown of it?
Well, obviously, 6th will play 7th, and then the winner of that will play 3rd. But then I think if 7th won the Irish Cup, there wouldn't be a playoff. If basically, listen, it depends who wins the Irish Cup. If there's a chance that there'd be one less game, but basically, if you're 7th, you've a decent chance of being in the playoff, like of some description. I'm surprised, but what you say, like I totally get it. But for me, like you've got Portadown, Warrenpoint, Dungannon, and Carrick all in the mini league. I would have always said that at the start of the season. Above that, I would have had Glenavon and Ballymena in their own mini league, and it's just sort of what it is. And then above that, I would have had Crusaders, Cliftonville, Larne, Glentoran, Coleraine, and Linfield in whatever order. And it sort of has went that way. Like Glenavon were obviously close to getting top 6. To me, they are where they should be, in my opinion. Like.
Yeah, to me as well. I think Cliftonville have pushed on. To me, Cliftonville are a sort of 6th place team, and they've done well to stay up there, but they've been playing really well and pushed on. From what I've seen of Coleraine this year, we always say the table never lies, but I mean, I personally don't see Coleraine as a 2nd place team. I think they're dogged. They're dogged. They're well established, but I don't see them. I didn't ever think they were going to win the league this year, and I really don't see them as a 2nd place team. And I think they'll be devastated to be out of the Irish Cup as well, especially the way they were knocked out. With I think it was very even, apart from Paul Heatley hitting a wonder strike. So, but listen, the league is so competitive. Between 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, really.
I saw quite a controversial tweet last night from a Coleraine Twitter celebrity, but he subsequently deleted it.
Listen, let's not name any names, but what did Alan Simpson say?
No, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. It was a local motormouth on Twitter, Coleraine fan, and he was beefing and gurning about. Okay.
Let's not mention any names, but what did something Doherty? Is that what it is? No?
Oh, it is. Aye. And he was beefing about Oran Kearney and about another trophyless season for Coleraine, and then the tweet was subsequently deleted. It's like, mate, he's won the League Cup last year. What are you talking about?
Like, ridiculous.
Madness, absolute madness.
Yeah. For a part-time provincial team, they're punching above their weight. What more do you want? Like,
look at the European run at the start of the season. Like, that was amazing for an Irish League club to be doing that. I don't know who that fella is, but that's madness. To be Oran Kearney getting abused to be the one of the furthest things from my mind. That's bonkers.
Neil, make sure you tag him whenever we put this out in socials, because he'll retweet it like mad.
Oh, I have no doubt. Welcome to the world of the Twitter troll. But anyway.
Lovely.
So, yes, obviously, listen, do you know what? There's not even really been that much of a buzz at the minute, because the fact that it is a Mid-Ulster derby next week. So it's been sort of low-key. Dave, say something to spice it up a bit. Fire some shots at Gary Hamilton.
Oh, Lord.
No, I wouldn't do that. Do you know what? No, I'll not. No, listen, I'll not. But listen, I was driving down the Tandriggy Road yesterday afternoon, and I saw some boys building a bit of scaffolding and behind that wall, behind the Glenavon net. So I don't know if there'll be a few fans there on Tuesday night or not. No, listen, it's a Mid-Ulster derby, but you're right. I think because, Phil, what you said, the buzz was there for the Cup. Everybody was thinking about the first round of the Irish Cup. But there's a Mid-Ulster derby coming up, and I don't care if it's COVID times, not COVID times. I don't care if they're flying and we're not flying. It's a Mid-Ulster derby. You have to win it. You're only as good as your last Mid-Ulster derby, and we lost the last one. So I want the season finished with us having bragging rights, so that when we bump into guys in Portrush over the summer with their Portadown tops on, we can walk past them and smile and not put our heads down and scuffle on, But listen, I like us against Glenavon at Moorview Park. There's no fear in that match at all. What did Glenavon really have to play it for? I think they're not far away from securing that 6th position. yeah. But listen, let's get stuck into them. We've got good players. We can score goals. You know, our defenders usually play well. I know maybe they had a wee bit of a wobble on Tuesday night in the Cup, but generally they're very reliable this season. And who have Glenavon got on the team that we have to fear? Nobody really. How's that for you?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it as a neutral. I'm working on it. I was talking to
listen, mate, at some stage you're going to have to get off this neutral fence and just pick a team.
I knew you were going to say that tonight. I knew someone was going to say that tonight.
There's a wee Tyrone twang. There's a Tyrone twang off your voice, like, so it's bound to be Dungannon, like.
No, I
was actually going to ask. You've been placed sort of between Portadown, Glenavon, and Dungannon. So, are you from in the middle of them three, or from in and around that area?
I'm originally from Banbridge.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm originally from Banbridge. Yeah. So, I can't pick either of these three sides. All three of them, I just love. No, I'll tell you why. All three of them. So, first ever match I was at was first ever football game that I can remember being brought to. Dad took me to Warrenpoint Town Glenavon and a friendly. Glenn Ferguson was playing for Glenavon. After the game, Glenavon won, but after the game, I was in the changing rooms with all the Glenavon players and they signed loads of stuff for me. And I didn't know what was going on, but I was just buzzing then. First ever game I did for BBC.
Glenavon fan?
No, the first ever game I did for BBC was a Dungannon game, and I was shadowing Gareth Hanna, and that was amazing. I loved that. That was over a year ago, so that's a special place for me. And then three of my best friends are Ansley Renshaw's sons, who used to own Wade Training, used to sponsor Portadown.
Mm-hmm.
So the most I've probably been to is Portadown games. I was at an Irish Cup final, I was at an Irish Cup semi-final. I used to go to Middlesbrough derbies with them. So there's a tie for all three. So I just, as I said, the Dave offer, when they're not playing each other and they're all playing away, I want all of them to win. Do you know what I mean? If I'm at the Portadown match on Saturday, as soon as that game's over, the first two results I look for to see how Glenavon did and how Dungannon did. It's weird, it's strange. I don't have, as I said, an affiliation or closeness to a single club, but the three clubs that I've been able to follow this year, I just love all three of them. I think they're all class.
In a professional capacity, that is an acceptable answer. But I will also say, after Portadown matches, the first result I look for is the Glenavon match, and actually it felt a wee bit better that Glenavon got knocked out of the cup on Tuesday night as well. I have to say it. So there you
go. So you're a fan of Glenavon. I'll put it like that. All three.
I just like to see the three of them do well, and I've probably been to Portadown games the most by a large way. Like I think I got engaged on Boxing Day 4 years ago, and was due to go to the Portadown Glenavon game. Only obviously got engaged and then
weren't allowed to go then.
Well, it wasn't allowed to go. I just didn't think it would have been appropriate. Like, cheers, Sarah. Thanks for saying yes. I'm way off to the football. Good luck. So I didn't go to that one. But yeah, so I like to still
at the game.
Yeah. Well, she's from Portadown. My wife's from Portadown, so
big center circle job, like a baseball match in America or something. You know, the whole crowd booing you.
Unreal. Listen, Phil. Before we wrap up here, tell us a bit about your podcast, The Football Babble.
Oh, it's I've been doing it for 4 years now as well. I love podcasting. I think it's a brilliant outlet, not just because a lot of people listen to it, but it's actually therapy for me. I that's why I started it, because I could get to talk to my mates about football. Like I was buzzing when you actually asked me to come on this, and I can't thank you enough for doing it, because I'm talking to two Portadown fans about football. It's what I love doing.
Listen, it's been a pleasure having you on, especially being able to give us your Glenavon opinions.
So it was originally called the Sports Babble, and we covered a lot of other sports as well. I'm a big American sports fan, and then we changed to the Football Babble recently. It's brilliant. Like the four other lads I have on with me, I'd kill people for. I know, probably get arrested for saying that, but I would die for all four of them. It's just amazing, four amazing lads that add different things to our podcast, and we're really close now. We're like five brothers now. We're really, really close, which is lovely. Like I'm sure you still find it as well, doing this and working together. There is a bond then you sort of get, and a buzz you get from doing it. So it's called the Football Babble. It's on Twitter and Instagram and all your podcast apps. We talk about the minute, the English league and what was been going on and different things. We're going to change that a little bit and talk more about something I think is very important. Is there is the element of the football match and what goes on, and that's great, talking about that, but there's also the bits away from the football match, like the football fan culture and the football fan crack. Like, Dave, I sat behind the Dungannon game and watched you for 90 minutes torture Dungannon fans, and I was just in my element behind you. I don't know if you remember this, a couple of weeks ago, laughing. You were constantly torturing. I think someone from Portadown actually told you off, but you were, and I love all that. Like, I love it. There's a side to that I think this league and podcasting this league could tell and produce more of, and I think it'd be brilliant. And I love that as well. I love hearing stories and chatting about sports. So it was just something I thought, right, I'm going to do this. But listening to enough of them, I'll do it myself. And I did. And we have a small little army of fans that listen, and we're so happy to have them. And if it stays the way it is, I'm happy enough. If it grows, it grows. But I'll just keep doing it every Sunday or Monday night because it is therapy for me, and I just adore doing it.
Brilliant. You're so passionate about that. It's class to see. Like, and I think I think you're right when you pick up there. And I think we almost touched on it in the podcast here. I think we might see more supporters coming back to Irish League grounds over lockdown, because sitting in an armchair in your house drinking a cup of tea, watching millionaires play football in front of no fans, what is that? It's a computer game at the end of the day. Whereas you go to your local football ground for the crack. You go to see the same old faces. You hear the same old drivel at times, but there's something reassuring about that as well. You know, it's community, and that, to me, that's what football's all about. And I think even the big English game, I think traditionally the working class English game, it was more about community than it is now. Obviously, there's so much money involved, but I think we all love it. And, you know, you obviously, it's come across strongly. You love getting to Mourneview Park and Stangmore and Shamrock Park. And especially during the times that we're living in, any wee thing that we can do that resembles normality has been brilliant. And I think we'll give it another wee shout. We need to get supporters back in stadiums ASAP in the Irish League. It's completely safe. There's negligible risk. We're outside. There's far more seats in the stadiums than we actually need, so people can spread out easily. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. So, and just when you're chatting there, and you're saying about saying the same old character, shouting the same old.
Who are you thinking about? Name names. Who are you thinking about?
Well, I'm going to give him a shout out. Even he's a friend of ours. I'm going to give Alistair Kerr a shout out here, because it just reminded me of the time Portadown were playing Glentoran at Shamrock Park, and it was the first time I think Ross Dunlop ref at Portadown after the Irish Cup 2015 debacle. And I just remember Alistair had a giant red card, and at half time when they're walking over, Alistair's just standing with the red card like that for the referee. And you miss that kind of stuff. You miss all that. The fans need to be brought back. Like,
I won't name him, but my best mate, I've told you about his dad earlier, but one of the brothers, my best mate, we were at Portadown v Cliftonville. Liam Boyce was still playing for Cliftonville, and we were down at one of the lower seats, and my friend stepped forward and said to Liam Boyce, "Hi, soda hole, you've done nothing all game," and literally about 2.5 seconds later, he skint. I think it was Breen maybe was playing at the time. He skinned over, ran through, flicked it across. Joe Gormley scored, and he came back towards the two of us to celebrate then. And I was in tears laughing. I had to applaud Liam Boyce for it, and I love that. Like, I don't know, like, I've been to enough Liverpool games, enough games over in England, so you do hear the odd chant and the thing, but it is completely different now. It's going to sound maybe the wrong term if you're not an Irish League fan, but English football, professional football, is watered down compared to what we get now. And I've got to see and experience this now because I've been lucky enough to follow your clubs and work at them, and I'm just in awe of it. Like, Mark Beattie said to me last week, the reason why I love this football is because you can see this in the park. There's no VAR, there's no goal line technology, there's none of that nonsense. There is egos, but they're egos because they just think they're the big lad. They don't think they're egos because they're earning millions of pounds. And it's perfect.
Unless you're Lauren. Sorry, I just had to
I'm saying nothing. And
I was going to say we're not allowed to talk about.
Kill me.
I was going to say we're not allowed to talk about Keelan Loughlin anymore in this podcast, but there you go.
So I like I would encourage anyone that watches this or has watched the Irish League on BBC or has watched other channels, other clubs' channels, as soon as you can, when the executive wises themselves up, sorts themselves out, get to your games. Just go, even if it's not your local team, but there's a game on Saturday. Just go wherever you can, because like it's such an experience. It's brilliant. Like it is a brilliant 2 hours you'll spend, and the first game, it's a big game at Stanmore Park. It's going to be class, and I can't wait to.
No, I couldn't agree any more than you. I think we're all busting to get the fans back. It's just not the same without the fans. At the end of the day, you can put whoever on the TV, you know, whether it be Portadown, Carrick, Dungannon, Liverpool, Arsenal, Celtic, Rangers. It doesn't matter if the fans aren't there. It's just not the same. Like, and they need to get everyone back ASAP. Miss the atmosphere. Miss the abuse being thrown at also in all sorts of directions, and the old smell of cigars. Miss all that as well.
I miss the smell of onions in the burger van.
Oh, well, this is true. See, because of that, I haven't been able to have my traditional cheesy chip out of the chippy van. Miss that. Honest to God. But sure, what can you do? Fellas, I suppose we better wrap it up now. And we've chatted on for quite a while. Phil, thank you very much for coming on the show. And we've been delighted to have you on, and hopefully Portadown get 3 points on Saturday and you're entertained whilst you're there.
No, thanks very much for having me on. Hopefully it'll get me on again, and my internet won't mess about. I don't know what's going on. Apologies for that, but I've enjoyed it, boys, and I'll see you on Saturday at Shamrock.
Yeah, your internet hasn't been too bad at all, mate, to be fair.
Before I say goodbye to you, Dave, I better say don't forget to like and subscribe to the We Are Reports TV YouTube channel and also Spotify, because if I don't say that, I'll get my ass kicked. So yes, so give us a wee like and subscribe if you can, please, folks. And as always, thanks everyone for listening. Dave, thanks very much for coming on board again.
Final word, Mid-Ulster Derby. Bring it home. We need 3 points at Moorview Park.
We do indeed. Let's make it 3-1 to Portadown this season. Cheers, folks.